KJ, how are we feeling today, sis?
Good. How are you?
I am good. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for hanging out with us today.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited that you asked me to be here.
Of course. There's some people that I've come across on Twitch that just from the first time I talk to them, they give off a certain energy and a certain vibe that just is warm and welcoming and fun. And I swear you have more energy than any person I've ever met. So this was a no-brainer for me in terms of getting you on here. It was more of a win, not an if.
I appreciate that. I've been waiting too. Ever since I've seen you talk with people, I got to meet a whole bunch of people actually through your 21 questions.
I love it.
I know me and Choose got to connect through it. And
yes.
So it's been great to have you do this.
It's been super fun. You know, it was kind of a random thing that I thought of, and then it sort of evolved and developed over time, and I've just been really, really happy to keep it going. And I was just telling Chad, I don't know if you heard me, but it's also really nice to talk to somebody that you don't usually talk to. We chat in each other's chats and everything like that, but to legitimately be on a phone call with someone that you don't get to hear their voice or see their facial expressions on the daily, it's just nice to switch it up a little bit.
I 100% agree with you. I'm a pretty big extrovert, so this has been pretty hard on me, being locked up inside for over a year at this point.
It's been a struggle. I will say this. Rita's asked me a couple of times. As of today, I'm not in a big rush to go back into the office. I'm enjoying working from home so much that I'm chilling. But I do think there'll be a time where I'll be like, okay, I'm ready to see and interact on a daily basis, even if it's not my coworkers, because when I run it through my filter, I keep thinking about my coworkers, and it's really more like the random people you'll bump into in your comings and goings throughout the day. You know what I mean? Something more like that. So yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm glad that we're gonna do this. So thank you again for wanting to come on. Yeah,
I'm very excited to be here. So I'm excited to get into this and have you get to know just how weird I am.
It's gonna be great. I have no doubt we're gonna have a blast, and hopefully you're not nervous. Hopefully you're not. I know you're gonna be great. We're gonna have a blast.
Oh, I'm always nervous, but that's nothing new. So
you know what?
We're gonna rock it.
I definitely know we are, and I'm super excited. I gotta say hello to a few people in the chat.
Yes.
Nighthawk, Alex, Fast Gamer, welcome in. Hayden, it's good to see you. Mrs. Kimbroplays is here. Says lipstick goals. KJ. Lord Gold is here. Gas in the building. Good to see you. Wish TV's in the building. Breezy Girl, it is good to see you guys. Hello, hello, hello. I appreciate you. KJ, appreciate you. Thank you for giving us your Wednesday. You guys are awesome.
Oh, anytime.
I was gonna say a bunch of these people are your family, right? This is a lot of your family members in here ready to support you.
Yeah, actually, and Sona and Lord Gold, I've actually known IRL for years. Sona
really?
and I have been friends for over 12 years at this point.
Oh my goodness,
so
that's amazing.
You actually have family in my chat, in this chat right now.
Yeah, legitimate family.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
And V-King's here. That's my sister.
Oh, I love it. It says sister in the house. Welcome in, family. It is good to have you guys. For those of you guys who have never met me before, my name's Kimbroplays. I'm a variety streamer from Columbus, Ohio. And one of the things we like to do in here is this interview podcast style stream where I bring on different content creators and ask them a bunch of thought-provoking questions and just, get to know them. I like to think of it this way. When I first came up with the concept, it was on the heels of feeling like I had seen too many people sit around and ask the why did you want to start streaming question. And I don't want to know that. I want to know what makes you tick. How did you get to be the person you are today? And why are you the way that you are? You know what I mean? And that's kind of where it came from, KJ. So I'm super excited. I just wanted to say, house cleaning wise, you guys can feel free to ask us any questions you have in the chat. We'll definitely stop what we're doing and read through those and answer any questions you guys have. Otherwise, I have 21 that I want to ask KJ specifically. And, from there, we'll just put her on the hot seat and see what happens.
Do it. I'm prepared.
You feel
Let's
ready?
go.
Okay, let's dive into the first one.
Yeah.
We'll start with some layups. And V King can kind of tell us, like, are we true or are we not true, V King?
V King's my lie detector.
Yeah, because there's a couple we'll take it back a few years and get to know you as you were younger. So, and we'll start here. First things first. When you were younger, what did you want to be? When you got, like, did you have aspirations and dreams of becoming something in the future?
I did. I wanted to be a paleontologist.
Ooh.
I liked dinosaurs. I liked fossils. I liked all of that. I wanted to be a paleontologist when I grew up, and it was funny because when I would talk about this with my mom and my stepmom, they were like, well, I grew up in Iowa, you live in Iowa, so there's not much for you here.
Yeah.
Turns out, once I get to college and I have an earth science minor, Iowa is actually a hotbed for paleontologists because of the glaciers.
I was going to say, I'm certainly not like big into fossils and dinosaurs, but I just like to think that probably everywhere in North America, you can find something. And I'm assuming Iowa's fine.
It
so
was.
Funny.
It definitely was. And then I decided I wanted to be a chemist by that point because I'm a nerd.
That's so funny. You know what? I'm assuming you grew up watching Jurassic Park, though, too, right?
Actually, I mean, I watched Jurassic Park later in my life.
Okay.
It really was more about, there was this video game. I don't know if V King remembers this, but we had, the basic computer, and we lived out in the country, so we didn't have like a really good internet or anything. We had the really basic dial-up. So this was an offline game, and you would play as this photographer, and you'd have to go around and take pictures of these dinosaurs.
Okay.
And like the plesiosaurs would always scare me because you would go underwater and you'd like take a picture, but it would come out and attack you, and so you'd get really scared because you're a little kid. But like that kind of ignited it. And then I had these cards that we'd get in the mail that had a bunch of different dinosaurs on it. I just don't know what it was about it all, but I loved fossils and dinosaurs. And yeah.
It is really cool. I do like that. It is a really cool thing to want to be when you grow up. I mean, I know like I said, I didn't have anything, I didn't have like big aspirations or like a draw to it, but I do remember, for instance, Jurassic Park making a big influence on me and leaving a big, imprint on me about just the wonder and the awe of how long our world has been around and the types of creatures that were here before us. It is fascinating. So good for you.
Everybody's like, I want to be president, or I want to be a princess or something, and I'm like, I want to be a scientist. From even I was a little kid.
I love it. That's super cool. No, I love it. So funny. I want to say hello to a couple people who just showed up. Hooli, it's good to have you. Thank you for being here. Nip, what's going on, my brother? Gas, thank you for the re-up for 6 months. You're crazy. Sam, Galaxy Girl, it's good to have you too. Wish TV's in the building. Welcome in, guys. We got KJ killing it with us today. Super excited. She just told us she wanted to be a paleontologist when she grew up. So very, very cool. And then you said you went into earth science and chemistry?
Well, I went into chemistry as my major, and then earth science became a minor, and I almost got a second minor in biology.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is cool stuff.
All emphasis on education.
Oh, okay. And then I know just from off the record, you ended up teaching, right?
I did. I ended up teaching for about 3 years.
Okay.
I ended up teaching high school and middle school science.
And I'm assuming you liked it, but then you didn't like it.
I love teaching.
Yeah.
I like those aged kids.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big little kid person, but I like middle and high schoolers. I think their angst is funny because I was there. Like, you know, I think it's just like people are like, oh my God, they're so angsty. I'm like, yeah, but look, they're so angsty.
Yeah. I love it. Big teaching KJ in the building. I love that.
I just didn't care for how I was treated by parents and how I was treated by administration and policies, and especially as a science teacher, the policies were changing all the time,
Yeah.
and you could never catch up. It was just a lot to have to deal with.
Yeah, Rita has a good friend from college who went into teaching, got her master's in the whole 9 yards, and taught for a little bit, and got out of it too for a lot of the same reasons, just the lack of support, difficult families, difficult areas, and it's disappointing. You know, we all know how important it is and how much we were all influenced by teachers growing up. So it sucks that we, you know, have wonderful, bright people like you and our friend that we know who get out of the profession for one reason or another. It sucks. So, well, regardless.
Yeah, for one little kid, my niece. I do have a niece.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course. That's what Lord Gold is talking about.
I love it. I love it. That's fun. I was gonna say, just quickly before we move on, I don't know that I had like a really strong I want to be this when I grow up, other than like sports fantasies. I always wanted to do like, you know, I was influenced heavily by being in Columbus and Ohio State being around. But I do remember early in high school feeling like I was really drawn to science as well, and specifically understanding the human body. So I ended up going into that into college, and so I definitely understand how you felt about that. So
so you went in for biology then specifically? What do you do, by the way?
Yeah. So I ended up going in undecided, and then flirting with psychology, specifically the brain. I was really interested in how the brain works, and I kind of like parlayed that and funneled it into the like how we decide to exercise and how exercise influences us physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, the whole 9 yards. So I actually have a master's in exercise psychology, and I do physical activity and a bunch of other things, but wellness for a living. So my
that's fascinating.
It's really interesting stuff. It's hard to do from home during COVID. I'm essentially we went from having a bunch of different in-person events and programs to now I'm stuck essentially, making newsletters, updating websites, managing social media. So it's hard to connect with people on something so personal as physical activity behavior, or just, lifestyle behavior that's healthy for them. It's hard to do that from, all the way across town via an email. So I have a passion for it. I enjoy educating and motivating and helping people figure out intrinsic triggers for themselves that want to get them to be the best person they can be. So that's really where it stemmed from and kind of why I got into it. And now it's just kind of tricky because I've been at home for a year doing it from afar. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And we don't know what it's going to look like when it comes back, We may get the vaccine and we may be able to go back into work, but are we going to be able to support each other and be, in each other's personal space? And I'm not a personal trainer by trade, but personal training as an example of some of the stuff that, we do as a profession, as an entire wellness community. So it's going to be a little tricky to see what happens to this whole thing.
Okay. That's really cool. I've always wondered what you did, and that just makes sense. Getting to know you even a little bit that I have, that really fits who you are.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's been super fun. I'm really glad I got into it. It's nice. Rita's an RD, so she specializes in helping people figure out how to eat better. I specialize in people exercising and quitting smoking and having mental health, blah 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 blah. So
hard.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy just to have the two of them. So but we're passionate, we love them both, and it's just hard to do all of it from afar where you can't get to know somebody in person. So
power couple. You guys are a power couple no matter what you do.
I was gonna say we may have been when we weren't just in our houses, but it's I'm dying. It's good to see you guys. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. Cybertrains is here. Hello. Bafiki with the tab. Miss Kimbroplays says teachers need more support. 100%. Dags420 with the follow saying hello. What's going on, Dags? It's good to have you. Hey, bestie. Sorry, been sick for 3 days. Have to support my bestie. Hopefully you feel better, Dags. That sucks.
Feel better.
Kitchen Kills, good to have you. Dystopian Dust says Nighthawk sent me. It is good to have you. Welcome in. We're hanging out with KJ, getting a chance to talk to her, asking her 21 questions. Nighthawk, thank you for the recommendation and the love. Fast Gamer, good to see you guys. yeah, I just wanted to stop and say hello. Thank you guys for being here. Happy Wednesday. KJ, what was the first album, record, CD that you ever owned?
Ooh. CD or cassette tape, because
Any.
that's how far this goes back.
Oh, me too. Me too.
Probably Backstreet Boys or Britney Spears oriented, to be honest with you. I definitely remember having the first conversion from cassette tape to CD, where you would have the very special conversion thing that you could record it on, was a Backstreet Boy one into CD. We owned those. We also owned the Men in Black soundtrack.
Ooh.
Love that song, and my sister and I would rewind it and we'd dance. It's all the Men in Black, and then
man,
the Titanic soundtrack. Go on, honestly.
Celine Dion, a legend.
Oh yes, and we didn't listen to anything else on those soundtracks, those particular two, except for those two songs.
Yes.
But we would dance in our room to the first Backstreet Boys album on cassette tape on blast. Oh. And my stepmom would want to kill herself, but it's fine.
Oh man, that is so funny, and I love that. I love that that's your musical foundation. I will say I was probably a little more Team NSYNC than I was Backstreet Boys, but at that point back then, you couldn't escape either group. They were everywhere. So I definitely was heavily influenced by that. It's funny because you started out by saying, oh, well, I had cassette, and then you literally dropped the Men in Black soundtrack, which is my first album. That's the first one I ever had, was the Men in Black soundtrack on cassette, which is why I had like a huge smile. I used to listen to that nonstop. I actually had that, and I had like some random cassette of like the Beach Boys greatest hits. It was a weird 1-2 punch that my mom gave me, but I used to get down on the Men in Black soundtrack, and I love it.
So good.
I love Lord Gold, so Jim West, Desperado. Oh, that was also a wonderful movie from when he was in Wild Wild West. Will Smith is my goat. It's my all-time favorite.
I love him so much.
Love some Will Smith. Fast Gamer ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why. I feel that. Feel that. Lions Den says, hello, how you doing, bro? It's good to have you. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Kingston Killa in the building as well. You fellas, you guys are nuts. Thank you for showing mad love. Kingston and Lions Den are in real life friends as well. They used to be co-workers, and now they stream together and play Warzone, and they are just like the two most nice, lovable, jovial brothers on Twitch. Good to see you both, fellas. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Dystopian Dust says, I got an NSYNC cassette when I was 5. Listened to that on repeat. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah.
Loved. I was on the Backstreet Boys train, but that doesn't mean I didn't like NSYNC. But you couldn't admit it at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because at the time, you were one or the other. I remember the story of, and this isn't nice, but I made one of my male classmates cry because he liked NSYNC and I liked Backstreet Boys, and I sent him a note that said NSYNC was what it said on it, and I distinctly remember that because he got really mad at me.
Oh man, that is so good.
It's like in first grade or something, you know, it wasn't anything that was a year old.
That is so funny. So funny. Yes, I definitely remember some heated discussions between the two. People got really emotional on their side of the argument. That is for sure.
They did.
That is so funny. Okay, staying in the same like nostalgia range. I didn't do this, so I'm not sure if this made it out to Iowa or not. I feel like a lot of people did this. If you had a name, what did you name your first car?
Oh, my first car. She was named. Oh no. She was named, and she's a Pontiac Sunfire.
Oh yeah.
And Sona, do you remember? V-King, do you remember what my Sunfire was named? My current car is named Harleen for Harley Quinn.
Oh, I love
she's blue
that.
And red.
That's fun. That is very fun.
my Sunfire died due to a flood that we got at the time. Sicky, that's what we started calling her.
That was what you called her?
Roxanne was it was Sicky. I'm pretty sure is what we started calling Sunfire. Roxanne was the Ford Focus. That was Roxanne, because Roxanne, don't turn on that engine light, was her theme song.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, or something.
I love it. Like I said, I don't know what it was. I think my mom definitely encouraged me to. I think I was just like I was an only child boy, and so I was too cool for school. I didn't name a car, but
of course.
At the same time, I do respect it, and I do look back and think I should have, at least a little bit, because then you have all these awesome memories and good times, inside jokes, all kinds of great stuff happens when you name your vehicle. So I feel like I let myself down there.
Okay, Harleen is pretty boring. She's just a Ford Fusion, and she works right. So, there's nothing.
Just straightforward, reliable.
I drove halfway across the country with her twice, so she's...
Oh, that's dope.
She stands up to the test.
I was going to say, it's probably going to be hard to let her go. Old reliable like that. Yeah. It's going to be super sad. Rita recently exchanged vehicles through her parents. Her mom was upgrading her vehicle, and we bought it off her mom, and Rita had a hard time getting rid of the car she had been driving. It was a bucket, but it was hard. It was hard on her. A lot of good memories, many wrecks. She hit a myriad of things in that car, so hard to let it go. Hard to let it go. Scary Mary, thank you for the biddies. Nip, I appreciate you. Frank, my boy, you have your sister in the chat and one of your oldest friends in the chat. KJ, and I have one of my groomsmen in the chat. So it is a family affair in here tonight.
It is. What a great chat right now.
I know. You guys are awesome. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for being here. Okay. What was the last show that you binge watched, KJ?
I'm currently re-binge watching Gilmore Girls right now, but the last show that I binge watched was I had to re-catch up on The Mandalorian so I could go through the second season. And then I re-binge watched to finish it off with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Because,
Sabrina.
The last season dropped, so I had to re-watch it and then watch the last season. So
did they bring Sabrina back?
It's a new one on Netflix.
Okay.
It's more based off the comics, so it's more witchy and darker than the other one was. It's not like it's comedy, but it's dark comedy.
I see.
Not just straight up silliness.
I remember vividly Sabrina. I didn't watch a lot of Sabrina, but it was one of those shows for me that I would catch myself like seeing it halfway through and then being like, I kind of like this. And then like I remember the black cat.
Melissa Joan Hart.
Yes. I remember the cat like always was like witty and was like getting like just razzing people good show. Solid show, Sabrina.
What about you? What are you binge watching? What do you like to watch?
Miss Kimbroplays and I have watched a ton. In the last week alone, we finished I would say since we got married. So 3 weeks ago, almost 3 weeks, just under. We finished like 3 of the 5 seasons of Outlander, which is amazing.
Okay.
Stars show. If you've not seen Outlander, it's awesome. We finished the 3rd season that just came out on Netflix of The Sinner. You heard of The Sinner?
Yeah, isn't that the
creepy as shit?
I just started watching it.
Creepy as shit.
I literally just started watching it. I watched the first episode
of season 1.
Yes.
With JT's wife.
Yeah, her.
Yes.
When she just straight up kills somebody. Yes. Her.
It is.
That's I've seen the first episode.
It is wild. Really, really good show. Season 1 really solid, creepy. Season 2 creepy. Season 3 just came out. Even better creepy. So I think season 3 might be the best of all of them.
My alley.
Yeah, you'll like it. And then we actually last night finished the 4 episodes of the crime scene Cecil Hotel. It was like the #1 show on Netflix the last week or so. It's
I haven't watched that one.
It's about the girl who it's about this girl who's in LA at like a really famous creepy hotel, and she goes missing, and her whereabouts and the circumstances around why she went missing are very, very terrifying. And so they do a great job of the 4-part documentary walking through that. So
that would be really interesting to watch. My boyfriend and I are he's already seen it, but I haven't finished Breaking Bad. I barely had even started it. So he and I got through, this is his rewatch and my first watch through the 4th season. So we are on the final season, and then he got COVID. So we haven't been able to hang out.
How's he doing?
He's fine. He took another test and he's positive. So, yeah, so he's still working through it right now, but it's not, like it's not like he's hospitalized.
Okay, good. Well, send him our well wishes. That is some scary stuff. How do you feel?
I feel fine. I don't know if I ended up getting it at one point and that's how he got it, or if he got it outside of me, but I have felt fine. But then again, I mean, I'll go into his room and say hi, but I've pretty much, for the most part, been socially distancing.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, we live in the same house.
I was going to say, you can only be so far. Yeah. Well, hopefully he feels better. Hopefully nothing happens to you, and you don't catch it from him or anything like that. And we'll be thinking about you. Thank you for the update, though.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for asking.
Of course. There's a couple of things. When I first met you, you were watching Gilmore Girls, Sona says.
Yep, this will be my 3rd watch through of the entire show, like for my whole life. I watched it once in college, once out of college when Sona, like around, no, that was, the first time was when I met Sona. That's when I was watching it for the first time. The second time when I was dating someone else, and then this is the 3rd time I've watched this show, like total.
Solid.
So
I know I've not seen it, but the dark-haired mom is
Lorelai.
That actress is in she's in Parenthood, which was an NBC show for a long time, and she's amazing on Parenthood. It's got Dax Shepard in it. It's got her. It's got like a sprinkle of a bunch of people that you would recognize. So we like her. Rita actually got her book. She got a book in the last. She wrote a book in the last couple years, and she's solid. We like her.
I'd have to read that because her character in Gilmore Girls is very interesting, and definitely like that show. What I like is that I've watched it 3 different points in my life, and because it's a drama, you get to relate to different parts of it as your life goes on.
Of course,
and you have different opinions about situations and characters that you didn't before.
That's fun. Super fun. I like that. I was gonna say, Nip says the cat's name was Salem. Yes, Salem the cat in Sabrina. I forgot. Kingston Killa says I can't wait for the new season of Snowfall, February 24th. Are you familiar with Snowfall?
I am not familiar with Snowfall.
I don't know Snowfall either. I'm gonna have to check that out. How do I watch it, Kingston?
Sure.
That sounds good. Dozed. It is good to see you daily. Amazing. Appreciate you. Good to see you. I'm trying to see who else is in the chat. If I missed you, I apologize. Fast Gamer says, have you all watched Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix?
I've watched some episodes here and there, but I haven't watched it all. That kind of stuff scares me. Like I'll watch horror movies, I'll watch fictional things, I'll do all that. But then you get into the real life horror, and then I get a little weird about it.
Not so much, huh? We tend to be a little bit more okay with the horror stuff. Maybe it's because we're both like fucked up and we're just like next to each other, like fucked up watching shit. But I will say, Unsolved Mysteries is a different level because it's unsolved. That's the whole point.
That's the thing, though.
There's no resolution. Yeah, there's no
it's
resolution.
Like watching Criminal Minds where they get solved.
Yeah, or even like, you know, this one that I just told you about that was #1 on Netflix this week about this girl who goes missing. We know the end of that story by the end of the show. The hard part about Unsolved Mysteries when I watch those is we don't know, and it's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Slapshot Matt, good to have you. I just started Community on Thursday. Community's the Donald Glover show, right?
Yeah, that's a fun one. I like the first. I think I've watched the first 2 or 3 seasons of that show, and I really liked them. And then I started to kind of get I fell off and kind of got bored after that. But the first few seasons were really funny.
I like that. I'm a huge Donald Glover fan. That has that also has Jason Bateman, doesn't it? Community?
No, it's
what am I thinking of?
You're thinking probably of the main guy, and gosh, what's his name? What's the actor's name?
Jason Bateman's in something. I'm gonna have to look it up now.
Yeah, I know. It's like Google.
Yeah, I gotta look it up.
Oh, Arrested Development is what you're thinking of. Yeah, yep. Arrested Development is so good. Actually, I was just talking about that the other day with Pillow. It's one of his favorite shows.
I've not watched that one either. We're missing out.
Highly recommended.
Okay.
Highly recommended.
We're gonna need something. We're gonna need to, because we're gonna need something light. We've been pretty heavy the last handful of weeks. We need something a little light and fluffy.
That one will do it.
That's a good call.
That one will be perfect. And it's got a good mixture of like dark humor with a little bit of like kind of messed up humor with just straight up comedy. Like,
sure. I love that.
Good stuff.
Sona says, I love horror movies. I have a list if you're interested. I am not interested at all. I'm a huge wimp. As far as horror goes, I like creepy. No, Rita does too. Rita loves them too, but I am terrified.
I found that a lot with it's more women that'll want to watch horror movies, and men will be, and this is generalizations, right? But men will be more wimps about it. Well, except for my boyfriend, it's not so much that he's a wimp, it's that he can't suspend his disbelief enough. He just laughs through the entire thing.
Yeah. Well, I think I
have to tell him to stop.
More specifically, I can handle pretty eerie stuff, pretty creepy stuff. I don't like jump scares. I'm not a jump scare person. There's something about me like I'm ready to fight somebody. Like I don't like feeling like I'm ready to fight. I'm a chill guy. I don't want to fight all the time. So yeah, Rita loves them. She loves it. And she's right. She says she says you make a good point. You make a good strong case for rewatching shows, and that she can never get me to rewatch anything. There's a couple movies. There's like this weird border. A certain movie or a certain show will cross into a territory where I can rewatch it. But the overwhelming majority of things I don't like to rewatch because there's so much good stuff out there. I feel like I'm wasting my time on something that is really good that I'm missing. Case in point, I've never seen Breaking Bad. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I've never seen like some really, really great shows. And so there's something in me that feels like if I don't continue to chop away at the list, I'm going to miss out on something. Even if I love a show, if a show's great and I've loved it and I want to rewatch it, I feel weird. I want to hammer through the list.
I'm such a weird person. I'm like the exact opposite in the sense that like I want to watch something new, but I'm really bad about being adventurous. I'm like, the only reason why I'm rewatching Gilmore Girls now, and I blame Tats, even though he hates Gilmore Girls, but I blame Tats and Jedi Grey because they talk about it a lot, and Tats hates the show, Greg loves the show, and I'm like, you know what, now I just want to watch Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
So, like, I want to rewatch certain shows at certain times, but I also fall asleep to shows. So like The Office is one that I've seen about 150 times because I fall asleep to it now. I get to a point where I'm like, I want to see this show, but I really know I like this episode here, and I just really want to watch this episode over here. I don't know what it is.
Rita's the same way.
I feel like there should be a happy in between.
She literally just fired up Sex and the City for like the 80th millionth time because she can fall asleep to it.
Never seen it.
She loves it.
Never
but it's the same.
Sex in the City.
It's the same function that you just mentioned though. It's that show that's like, I know I'm not going to hate this. I don't have to spend a ton of time watching it or listening to it. I can just throw it up and just be chilling and call it a day. So
that's true.
Yeah, she loves it. Slapshot Matt says the first 3 seasons of Community are so good. The last few have been just okay. I need to watch it. I think that you'd like it. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It's a very polarizing show because some people really like it and some people just are like, nah, I don't really care for it. Yeah. You'll find out if you like it within the first half of the first season. I tend to like Donald Glover a lot. I haven't really found something that he's in that I don't like, so I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy it. Most comedies I like, you know, they're it's hard to not like a comedy, especially if it's well done
Yeah.
to a level where, they make multiple seasons. Somebody liked it somewhere. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Fast Gamer says, I've seen so many crime-like shows. Now my sister says that I can be a lawyer. There you go. To know all the laws.
Do it, Fast.
I love it. Fast also says, boo, jump scare. Thank you. You got me.
Oh, you got me too.
Got me.
My heart.
Galaxy
I'm too old
Girl.
for that, Fast.
I know, seriously. Galaxy Girl says, I've been watching Pin 15 on Hulu and also told me not to play Five Nights at Freddy's. No, thank you. I won't. Thank you. Not interested. Lovey Dove, my guy, says that's what I do with Bob's Burgers. Just that trusty show you can fire up, fall asleep to, no big deal. I like it. B Porter, love, good to have you guys. Appreciate you guys for being here. Happy Wednesday. T-Dog, what's going on, brother? Good to see you too. All right, so we kind of got through the first handful, right? We're settled in now. Now we'll get into a little bit goofier stuff, a little more hypothetical.
Cool. I like it.
If the world froze, KJ, for an afternoon, only you can move, and no one can see or remember what you did, what are you gonna do? I know, right?
Oh, that's a really good one because there's like I'm not gonna be the person that's gonna go rob a bank or rob a whole bunch of stores. Like that's just not me. I'm gonna feel guilty about it. Once the world unfreezes, I'm gonna turn myself in. I know myself too much.
Sure.
But I would be tempted. It's like the world froze, but would I still be able to get on a roller coaster? Because I'm going to the roller coaster park in where is that? Is it in Ohio? Is that where
Cedar
you're
Point?
staying?
That's where we are.
Wow, I'm going to Cedar Point.
A couple hours
which
away
is a
from
bucket
us.
list place for me.
Oh.
I've never been, and I love roller coasters because I'm gonna go to Cedar Point and I'm gonna ride all the roller coasters as many times as I want.
And I can
That's
tell you,
what I want to do.
from going to Cedar Point multiple times as an Ohioan, it is fantastic. You would love it. In an afternoon with nobody stopping you from riding them, you would have so much fun. So much fun. I went to Cedar Point once in college and just nobody bugged me. We went one time in college. There's a campsite up near there where you can go and camp. At least pull up a truck and set up, you can sleep in your car, you can, set up tents, whatever you want to do. But it's really close to the park, so you don't necessarily have to spend the money on a hotel and park entrance, blah, blah, blah. So it's pretty dope, and we did this in college. We were all poor, and we went for a day, and like early mid-afternoon, there was a pretty strong rainstorm that came through, like a pretty hard thunderstorm, but it kind of blew through fast. And so most of the park emptied out, and after like an hour and a half, 2 hours, the park was basically empty. We had like no lines for anything. So we spent the last 2.5 hours like sprinting from spot to spot because everybody was gone. So at least, all the families with kids and stuff, you had adults there, but anybody who, college age students or just adults on like a day trip, they were having fun. So we all had a good time, and it's awesome, especially if you can hammer through a lot of the big ones all at one time. That's a great answer.
I want to do that.
Answer.
Or go to like a place like Washington, D.C. and go through all the museums completely by myself for as long as I want. I want to touch things. Touch it.
Touch stuff
I
you
want
can't.
to touch it all.
You're not allowed to touch.
And I want to go inside all the space things. I want to go to the Aerospace Museum. I want to sit inside all of the space things. I want to touch it all.
Yeah, that is pretty fun. I would say, I've had a couple different ideas come to mind. But you saying that sparked a new one for me. I would definitely, even though I would probably die, I would do something that I would never be allowed to do in a normal life, like go to an army base and fly a fighter jet. Like something where like I would never ever be able to do that. I'm gonna go get a really fancy car and take it around a racetrack, or pull out an F-16 and zoom around town a little bit. I would do something definitely like that. No one would ever know.
Absolutely. It'd be really fun too to like be able to grab like a Lamborghini for the first time and just go out to a racetrack and just fucking go as fast as you want for the first time ever.
And just be zooming.
That would be super cool.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna be my answer for a while. I like that a lot. V King wants to know, are you going to take someone with you on your excursion to the Cedar Point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would 100% take someone with me. It would be nice to have like 1 to 2 like really close people just go and have a good time. No lines, just us sharing that day. Like that would make that day just even better for me personally.
I like that. Mrs. Kimbroplays cracked me up at the beginning. She says only you in all caps. We have an inside joke of like Smokey the Bear. We run around the house like if we said only you. There was a commercial running in Ohio for a long ass time that was like at least a Smokey the Bear thing. And
oh, I remember those. Yeah. I mean, we didn't have forests in Iowa, but I remember those.
Craziness. T-Dog says he would rob a bank. That's what I would do. You would, T-Dog. I'm surprised you wouldn't like go to your favorite sports team and take all the jerseys out of the locker room. That feels more on brand for you.
That'd be pretty cool too.
It would. All right, KJ, you ready?
Yes.
And this feels like V King could definitely get involved. I love this question. Would you describe yourself as a good loser when it comes to playing cards or board games?
I would say that I've gotten better as the years have gone on. Okay. I think that I'm such a perfectionist with myself that if I'm a bad loser, it's not because I didn't want the other person to win. It's because I'm mad at myself for losing, if that makes sense.
It does.
So I get really mad at myself if I'm not good at something. Yeah. And it's funny when it comes to board games and stuff like that, I always have beginner's luck. So I don't usually lose them on board games.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when I'm playing with my friends on Magic the Gathering or stuff, there's always playful banter, but I don't think that I've ever gotten to the point where playing like Magic the Gathering or playing a board game with friends where I've stormed out of the room screaming and yelling at people. Yeah. I think I get more angry when I'm losing at video games than I do at in-person games.
Yeah. Rita says she's the same way. She's very much that way. She is more upset at herself than anything else. She's not the person who flips the table and accuses you of cheating. She's the one who's like so mad that she couldn't get it done herself.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think I've gotten better with time. I definitely was not. And it's partially my dad's fault. My dad is the ultimate trash talker when it comes to playing cards. Do you know how to play euchre by chance? Did you guys play euchre in Iowa?
I was taught how to play euchre a long time ago, and I couldn't do it right now, but it would be an easy pickup.
Long story short, you've got a partner in euchre, and it's 2v2, and you go around doing all of these cards, and a certain high card wins, and after so many hands, one of the two teams wins. And my dad had a I don't know.
To take tricks and stuff with it too.
You do,
right?
yeah. So my dad would get to the end, especially the two things he would do. If he knew he had the last card and he was playing the last card, he instead of putting the card on the table, he would blow on the back of it and slap it on his forehead so everybody at the table could see what card he had, and that was his way of like saying like I got you.
Oh wow.
So I grew up in a toxic environment where as a kid I could easily be triggered and be really upset.
Yeah.
The other thing he would do in euchre, you take two cards that are a 6 and a 4 and you set them on the table, and that's how you keep score. It's first team to 10. So you take the 2, 6, and 4 cards and you kind of always like move them across each other so that it displays the amount of points the team has. And when you get to 9, I guess this is a phrase in euchre, it's called being in the barn. And it means like you're just like one step away from winning. And he would take the two cards. It's like check, exactly. It's like letting everybody know like, hey, we're 1 point away from winning. And instead of keeping the cards on the table, he would take them and put them in between his ears and his head so that they would stick up like cow ears, and he'd go moo, like insinuating he's in the barn. Just shit like that. So I used to be really bad because I was in a spot where, I was ready to cuss somebody out, but I've gotten better with time and maturity, if you will.
I was gonna say, it also takes the right people, you know, like, because I know for me, when I get mad at myself, it takes the right people, like Sona or Viking, you know, it takes the right people to be like, stop being mad at yourself. It's okay that you lost. Like, let's just play again.
Yep.
Let's try again. Like, it's okay. It takes the right people in your life to really build those better habits.
I definitely feel you. Steve 420 No Scope in the building says, I saw a guy drop all his Scrabble letters across the road. I had to ask him, what's the word on the street? Very clever. I love it.
I'm leaving.
I'm out of here. I'm out of here. That's so funny. All right, let's see. KJ, let's talk about what are some of your pet peeves?
Okay. Puns. No, I'm just kidding. I've got a few pet peeves. One of them is very hypocritical. Very hypocritical.
Okay.
Good as well. When I'm playing games with people and they start getting mad at themselves or saying I'm sorry that I'm playing badly or that I'm doing this wrong and like that kind of stuff, it starts to very hypocritically, because I do the same thing. I start on my nerves because I'm like, no, you're fine. It's okay. You know, let's move on.
Yeah.
I think regular pet peeves would be people chomping with their mouth open, like whether it's gum or food.
Eating with their mouth open.
Or like talking with their mouths completely full of food so that I can't even understand them. It's like, just even swallow, then talk to me, please.
Bad. Those are good ones.
And then parking, if you take up more than one parking spot, it makes me want to key your car, which I would never do, but I want to.
But I want to.
I think the worst, though, is not even like taking in multiple parking spots. It's when you have a street parking and it's the unwritten rule of don't take up more than one parking spot, and people still do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then just when people are just utterly toxic and rude to each other. Like, it is the worst thing. It really gets under my skin when I hear somebody talk down condescendingly
to someone else.
You talk condescendingly to me, it's gonna annoy me and I hate it.
Yeah.
But when you're talking it to someone, especially if it's someone I care about, now it really just sets me in a mood.
Bad news bears. Those are all great ones. I can't disagree with any of those. I love those. The only one I would add, Columbus especially is a growing city that's getting too big for its transit systems, and we get bad traffic, and people are really bad about using their turn signals in Columbus. And it's just so reckless. Like, I think the reason it bothers me so much is because it's just so easy to do. You're just negligent.
It's literally that's it.
And it's, I don't know. That one's a big one for me. It's gotten easier since we're not driving to work every day, but having a commute into downtown every day previously, and it's not a good way to start your day when you're like basically screaming at some random stranger for their ineptitude at 7:30 in the morning. Not ideal. Miss Kimbroplays.
I used to live right outside of Portland.
Oh, okay.
Similar.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I was gonna say we've never been to Portland, Seattle, anywhere over there. Is there a lot of traffic?
Bad drivers, no turn signals. They will cut you off if you're not paying attention. They will slam on their brakes in front of you. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. I thought Iowa was bad. No, that's
nothing
worse.
like that, huh? Yeah, those are bad ones for sure. Rita says, hopefully you can't hear me chomping off camera. She is over here.
Hear you.
She just got done working. She's chowing down. So, Hurlinator88 in the building. It's your boy. It's good to see you, Hurlinator. Appreciate you stopping in. Those are great answers. I cannot argue with any of those. KJ, tell me one thing that is still on your bucket list. Other than Cedar Point, because we already covered that. I wasn't expecting you to actually mention something that I have in a question.
Cedar Point for sure. Definitely Harry Potter World over in England.
Ooh.
I would really like to go there. I would like to make it, overseas in general a few more times in my life. I've only made it overseas once to Amsterdam, and that was awesome. That was so much fun. And then I've made it to Mexico, and those are the 2 times I've been out of the country. So I would like to be able to travel more in general. I don't really care. I just want to go.
Yeah. I love those.
I also really want to, I guess for just a more personal bucket list, I really want to get really good at a video game.
Oh, like pro level?
Well, I don't know about pro level, but I want it to be a game that I literally can just hop on and know that this is the game that people know me for. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. It does. It's interesting. I hadn't heard anybody talk about that as being on their bucket list, but in this space, it makes a lot of sense for us to want that to be a goal. That's a great one. V-King wants to know if Korea's on the list.
Oh yeah, she wants to live over there, so of course I want to make it over there.
Ready to go to Korea. That's so funny. Now, do you guys live close still?
No, she's getting her second master. She's over in Wales right now.
Wow. Yo, V-King, shout out to you. Wow.
So it's late over there for her right now. So
my goodness.
She's hitting about midnight, but she's here with us anyway.
Yo, love that. Thank you for the love and support.
Yes.
That is so cool. I'm really bad with my geography, but isn't that in and around near England?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's around that area. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very, very cool stuff. Yeah, that'd be super fun to become good enough at a video game that people know you for that. I would love that. That'd be fun.
That would be really cool. Like I said, even if it's you don't reach mass or maxed ranked in something, you don't, but it would be kind of cool for it's like, oh yeah, that's Big Gaming KJ. She's the Apex player. You know, like she is a Apex player. It's kind of like it's synonymous with what my name.
Yeah. No, I love that. That'd be super fun. I'm gonna be rocking with you until we make that happen. You feel me? We need to make that happen.
I clutched up a win on Fortnite the other day.
Did you?
Oh, I did.
I would have been proud. I'm sorry that I missed it. There's nothing quite like a battle royale style clutch. That's just something. It hits a little different for me, at least in the way that I do it. But that's so fun. I was trying to think. There's probably some joint bucket list stuff for Rita and I now that we're married, but for me personally, I would love to be able to check out I'm open to the sport, but something like visit all of the stadiums of a particular professional sport, whether that be baseball, basketball, football. I'm a huge sports fan, and there's nothing quite like being in the live game atmosphere for me. Like hockey's one of the most amazing things to experience live, the energy in a hockey arena when it's really, really an intense game. And so I don't know, I think that'd be really cool to be able to knock out all of those. I got the bug early on from college, like being in the band at OSU and traveling with the band to different things. I was like, oh, we get to go to cool stadiums. We get to experience like true road games. I don't have to sit and watch this on TV. I could do this. I could want to go and do this more often. So, yeah, that'd probably be mine.
What instrument did you play?
I was a snare drummer.
We're not gonna leave that. Oh, okay.
We're not gonna leave that hanging. I was gonna say, did you see? Did you see Drumline back in the day with Nick Cannon?
I did.
In my prime, Nick Cannon couldn't fucking touch me.
Oh,
that little son of a gun.
I love it.
I love it. Snare drum. And ironically enough, the experience is similar. The experience is actually really similar to I don't know how well you remember that movie, but there's like a challenge situation, and you can be kicked on or off the line with how well you perform relative to people who challenge you. And a lot of that was actually pretty similar. Every college marching band does it a little bit differently, but it is a true brotherhood. It is stressful. It was crazy, and it was awesome. So yeah, definitely loved it, and got a chance to travel around a lot, which was pretty special. pretty special. You play any
That's
instruments,
awesome.
KJ?
I actually used to play French horn. I almost made All-State in my high school career. I didn't continue it in college because I was in a dorm for so long, and then an apartment after that. You don't play a French horn quietly.
Yeah,
so there was no space to practice it, so my embouchure is completely gone, but I still have the French horn. It's in my room.
That is really cool.
Actually, I learned to play trumpet, French horn, valve trombone, baritone, sousaphone, so like marching French horn.
Yeah.
So I played a lot of brass instruments.
Wow, that is quite a list. I was gonna say, I feel like you got to get into like a community band so you can still continue to like master your craft or something.
Maybe, I don't know. It's quite literally been years since I've touched it, let alone played it.
I say that while also being completely content with my drumming career being over.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's a nice idea in theory, but actually going through with it, not necessarily the same. KJ,
Absolutely.
do you prefer to fly or drive if given the choice?
I don't hate flying. I hate airports. I would prefer to drive. If I could literally just walk into an airport and just get on an airplane, I would say that I prefer to fly.
Yeah.
Every time, all the time. Like, I've been flying on airplanes since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Because my parents divorced early, so he lived in Texas, so my mom would fly us down to Texas, so me and my sister would be those kids that the attendant was in charge of, kind of thing.
Sure.
And that was back in the day when they could literally walk us up to the gate and send us on away, you know? And now you can't do that anymore. But yeah, it never, if I didn't have to go through security, which is necessary, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have to go through security, if I didn't have to find my gate, if I didn't have to do all of the stuff that you have to do in an airport.
Be dropped off because there's no parking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the parking is an issue too, especially now when you drive yourself or do you get an Uber?
Yeah.
Like, that whole process is just so much that I'd rather just get in my car and drive.
Sure. Just go through the normal driving prospects. And yeah, I definitely believe that. I was going to say, V-King says, I remember airports before 9/11. I do too. And I agree with you. I think I'm probably team drive now, mainly because of the hassle that it takes to fly. And that sucks because I really enjoy flying, and I've enjoyed flying. I remember asking this question to my first kill, and when we had her on, and she talked about flying because she wanted to get to her trip faster and spend more time wherever it was that she was going. And I completely agree with her, and that's a great point. But at the same time, the process of getting to the airport, like you just said, and then getting back and finding a way to get yourself home and all of that stuff, that's so much more of a hassle. Just get up and drive, take a trip, throw this stuff in the trunk and get on the road.
If it takes less than a day to get to your destination via driving, you might as well drive, because then you don't have to deal with everything. You don't have to get a rental. You don't have to do all of that. If it takes more than a day, then you spend one day dealing with the airport. Yep. And then, it is quicker. Yeah. But, like, for me, if it takes less than a day to drive to get there, then that's what I'm going to do.
And that's the move. I feel that. Wavesy, welcome in. Good to see you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping in. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to Highs and Thighs, too. Good to see you. Sona says train. That's a good call. I've never taken a train.
I've been on a train a long time ago, but I've never taken a train.
And to be quite honest, it's never even been like on my radar. Where we live is not really like a subway train. There's not transit like that here. So I would never think to do it. So yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. Although there was talk about Columbus getting I don't know, they call it the Super Bullet. There was some like specialized train that is like extra fast.
Oh yeah.
And it was supposed to be like some triangle between Columbus, Chicago, and maybe one other city, and you could take this in a triangle between the three of them if you needed to. And I don't think it ever got the funding to really get taken off, but I would love to do that.
That would be super cool.
I would love to do that. Yeah, I would. Okay, speaking of time and travel, you ready, KJ?
Yes.
You can't necessarily time travel physically, but your phone has the internet for either 5 years in the future, for 5 years in the future. What is the first thing you're going to search for? Right? So you're physically still here. Mm-hmm. Everything's still the same, but you can get information from 5 years from now. What are you going to do?
Oh, it's really morbid. I would look up public directories to make sure that my family was still alive.
Okay. It's not necessarily morbid. I feel that.
It would be
check in on everybody.
Is my grandma still alive? Are my mom's still here? Did my sister make it to Korea? Because I'm sure there's going to be some form of exchange that would happen there. I'm sure your local paper would cover it. That probably would be the first thing I would go is I check on family immediately. Because I'm like, if that's going to happen, the butterfly effect, no matter how much you try to prevent something, can you prevent it? But, and then my second would be, who's the next president?
Ooh, interesting. Solid second. Especially now. That's a really good one. Family has to be first, right? Either 1A, 1B, family / Google yourself. See what happened to you. I
don't know if I'd want to Google myself.
I know.
I don't know if I want to know.
You might want to hang. Well, but what if you find out through proxy of looking up your family?
That's true though.
You just might not be able to avoid it. Gas says my obituary.
Power in my hands. Yeah,
that's true. Fast says free gift cards. Yeah, those are both good answers. The only other one I've heard from people in chat when I've had this question, which I think is a good one, stocks, lottery tickets, right? The standard stuff you would use to, scores of games you could bet on football or whatever. I think I would definitely be interested in wanting to know about not necessarily what's trendy, but what are things that didn't exist that are now in the world, right? 3 years ago, we didn't know TikTok was going to be a thing, and now it's a thing, right? Like an app or a, some way of WebEx, Zoom became these things that we had to have.
For sure.
Stuff like that. I would be really interested to see what became sort of things we needed to live with ever since.
What's the new technology?
Yeah.
What's the next? Because it's growing so rapidly, and what is the new level of? For me, it'd be what's the new level of nanotechnology? As someone who used to work in research and development in a lot of that particular stuff.
Sure.
That was a lot of what I did in Oregon. Was I worked with. Basically, how small can we make microchips? There are plans in advance that I can't discuss publicly without getting in trouble.
That's wild.
So that would be pretty cool to know for sure.
It's funny you mentioned that. Rita and I, during our lunch break today, we actually pulled up a Vox video that talked about just the science of how the new COVID vaccines were developed using mRNA or DNA.
So cool.
And how maybe an unbeknownst to us benefit of what's going on with the coronavirus is we will now have a new way of delivering, and not only delivering, but speeding up how we process vaccines or cures for certain things, because we have a new way to deliver it. It's we have a new mode of transportation. We don't just have cars, planes, and trains. We have this entire other new way to deliver something into our bodies safely. And it'll be really interesting to see what happens with it, what kinds of treatments we're going to have in the long term. So that your comment about the chips kind of reminded me of that for sure.
That'd be so exciting.
Yeah.
Just imagine that you look 5 years into the future and you see that there are all these cures for all of these things just because we had to do we had to fund a rapid vaccine that now has funded these new research and developments, which is just phenomenal.
It's
so
crazy.
Cool.
It's crazy. Lord Gold says is Elder Scrolls 6 out? That's a good one. Yeah, I was gonna say
the answer is gonna be no.
Yeah.
The answer is gonna
I was gonna say, is GTA 6 out? You know, games that we're just like waiting for. Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's a
GG,
great
Lord.
one. I was gonna say the only other thing I was thinking of was like sports gamers are being promised a new college football video game, but we don't know if I don't have you followed that story at all? It's kind of interesting. So long story short, throughout the 2010s, nobody ever had an issue. There was no problems with all these different sports video games, specifically college ones that had different players from their college in the video game. You would have a college athlete on the cover, the teams would have all of their rosters and stuff, and they would have the number, the position, the skin color, the height, weight, stats of the player. They wouldn't necessarily put the name of the player in the video game, but definitely all these other identifiable characteristics. And these games would sell for, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars every year when they'd release a new game to the public. And at some point, a couple of the student athletes were like, yo, there's only one number 5 quarterback for Ohio State. I'm not seeing a dime from this, but you guys are making a shit ton off of me being on the cover of your video game and then selling it out to everybody with me in the game. And the students were upset, and the NCAA and the gaming developing company EA Sports were like, yeah, I guess they're a little too mad. We're going to need to stop making the game. And so that's what happened. They stopped making the game. And so people who are fans of college football, which I would argue is like one of the 2 or 3 most popular sports in the US. It's like
it is.
NFL, NBA, college football is kind of right in the mix. And we haven't had a game in 7 years now. And just within the last couple of weeks, that same developer said, okay, we're letting everybody know in a couple of years we're gonna bring it back. We don't know what it's gonna look like, but we're bringing it back. And so nobody knows what it's going to look like. We don't know if it's going to have real schools or fake schools. Like, are you going to have the Iowa Hawkeyes or the Cyclones? Or are you going to have Midwestern state with, you know, green and yellow? You know what I mean?
The corn.
Exactly. Like random fucking teams that have nothing to do with anything. So, yeah, it's just, that would be probably like the third thing I search for. I'm going to look for me and Rita, my family, and then I'm probably going to figure out if that game is something I can play again because I'm such a huge Buckeye fan. So,
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Thank you for telling me. I would have had no idea.
That's kind of the drama going on in the sports gaming community. So we need like National Hug a Sports Gamer Day just so we can feel better about not having our favorite video game for the last 8 years. So, yeah, I love it. The gamers in the building. It's good to see you, gamer. Welcome in. Cybertrans, good to have you. Super welcome back. Says my phone is alive. What did I miss? Only about 10 or so questions of KJ and I talking. But we got about 10 or so more. So don't you fret.
Perfect.
KJ. All right. A little bit more personal, but I'm excited to hear your answer because I know you are a very passionate young lady. Are there any causes that you strongly believe in?
A bunch. I'm a feminist by nature. I believe LGBTQA rights. I marched with my boyfriend for BLM. I care very much about the social welfare of the people in this country and, well, in this world, of course, but this country is really the only one I can really affect right now, if I can affect it at all, which is the cynical millennial coming out in me. But I believe that everybody deserves a right to be who they want to be / be who they are.
Yeah.
It's not that you want to be gay. It's not that you want to be a person of color. It's not that you want to be these things. You are these things. And you have a right to live your life the same way that any cis or white person would live their life, you know?
Yeah.
In a way that's not hurting anybody, fast gamer. So I took a philosophy course in college, and so I read John Stuart Mill's, and there's something that he says He says that, everybody has the right to be who they are as long as it's not hurting anybody. And then the book describes what does that mean?
Yeah.
Physical is obvious, emotional and mental are a little more difficult, but I do feel that you as a person, no matter who you are, I don't care what color you are, I don't care what gender you are, I don't care what sexual orientation you are, I don't care about any of that. Are you an asshole or are you a nice person?
Yeah.
If you are not a nice person, then I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah.
But I do care about your identity in general. Tell me your pronouns. Tell me how you want to be referred to. Like, my boyfriend likes to be referred to as a black man, but other people want to be referred to as African American, and that's fine. Tell me what you want to be referred to. I'm gonna refer to you as that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be called woman negatively and condescendingly. Please don't do that to me.
Yep.
Like, gamers' pronouns are they, them. Please refer to them as that.
Yep.
That's the type of stuff that I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
How do you identify? Not how do you want to be called. Not who do you think you are. Who are you?
Yeah.
And I will refer to you as such things, you know?
Yeah, no, that's great. And so I have I'll peel you back behind the curtain. I've been around you enough that I knew that you had really, really strong beliefs on a few things. And I have about 170 questions that I've pre-crafted for this show. And out of 170, there was no way that this one wasn't going to be on the list for tonight.
I love it.
So I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate you sharing with us how you feel. I'm 100% on board with everything you talked about, and you remind me a lot of Mrs. Kimbroplays, and I appreciate that about you. She even said I knew I liked you in the chat, and
I saw that.
And it's very true. And I have learned a lot through being with her and from meeting different people on Twitch. Not that I wasn't socially conscious or that I didn't do things to support others, but I did learn that I could do more. And I am encouraged and motivated by the people that I interact with on Twitch all the time, because it is such a passionate community, and I'm really excited to continue to support and figure out how I can influence with my platform or my privilege. Rita and I talk about privilege all the time, and using it so that you don't step on the heads of others, but rather lift them up any way that you can. You don't have to be, a major influencer to make sure that someone gets seen or heard or supported. So I appreciate you saying that, and I will always bang that drum with you as well, for sure. For sure.
I love respect her that you've got going on. It was really one of the main reasons why I've stuck around quite frequently, because I do feel that, and not because when you talk about struggles, it's not to put anyone else's struggle down. So that when I say this is not to put anyone else's struggle. I do feel that it's nice to have someone of a privileged point as a male look and see that women also need to be lifted up.
Yep.
And again, it's not to put down any other struggles that are happening. I just personally, obviously, growing up with two women, having a sister, and being a cisgendered woman myself, appreciate seeing somebody who is of a privileged standpoint, like a man, help to pick up women as well and be next to them. Yeah.
No, I'm glad that that's been the response. I've heard that multiple times from different people who have come across our merch store or an emote that I've had in the past, and I'm glad that it resonates and makes people feel any sort of somebody out there has my back. That's the point. That's the point of it, and I hope that everybody who is in my community or interacts with it understands that that's the goal that we're trying to have. So definitely. I was going to say, I didn't want to pass up Mr. Leviticus Rex, a good guy, a friend of mine on Twitter. Coach Robinson says, for your comments and what you talked about, spot on, such a big deal in society today. And I know that he's I'm pretty sure, I'm not like 99% sure he's an educator as well, and so he gets it as well. So I'm glad, and I'm super proud of you. And I think there's more that I would like to see you do to educate people. KJ, I know you and I've spent a little bit of time talking offline about different strategies and things, and I love that you've incorporated more just chatting with what you do on your channel and giving yourself a chance to spend a little more time talking about the things that you're passionate about. I would like to see all of my friends who are content creators have a space in their stream specifically cut out for them to just talk and share their opinions and thoughts. So I'm really glad that you've been doing it. I've enjoyed listening to your takes on different things, and I hope they continue.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm also very passionate about mental health, which is a lot of the stuff that I brought into my channel and brought into my Discord. Because no matter who you are, if you're struggling with your mental and emotional health, it affects everything about you. Yeah. And so you should just know that even though I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a professional when it comes to that stuff, just know that at least you have a community that cares about you, regardless if you can't, I can't tell you to be happy when you're sad, like that's silly. But I can say that I'm here and I'm sad too sometimes.
And that I have a vested interest in making sure that you aren't sad. We at least want to see you not sad, even if we can't diagnose you or tell you how to not be sad. Even if I'm 700 miles away and I can't actually physically influence your day to day like that, whether it's a couple messages exchanged or firing up a stream and talking about it, just knowing that you've got people who care about you. I agree. And that's one of the beauties of Twitch. I know that not everybody's Twitch channel and community is set up that way, and that's fine. To each their own. You set it up however you like, but at the same time, I am really, really proud personally, from a personal preference perspective, of the channels that are trying really hard to do some of that and give people a safe space to live, work, play, have fun. So I love that. Super. Thank you for shouting out all of KJ's socials. Hopefully we got them all correct. Definitely follow KJ, not only on Twitch, but on all of her socials. Definitely hit her with follows everywhere else. I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to my homie Wild. Wild says, just stopping in to say hey, wanted to drop a question for you guys. If you won $500 million, is that right? I think I got that right. $500 million, what 3 things would you do with the money to better your life, KJ?
Debts would all be paid. I don't have too many right now, but when I say debts, I mean family as well. Debts, paying back some loans that I have had recently. But then I would like to travel. I would love to travel, and that's not even like, okay, so it's not permanently bettering your life, but I would disagree and say that it is. Because you start to appreciate the things you have by traveling to different places. You start to appreciate your own friends or your own language, even by traveling to different places. I know that I would appreciate being a woman in America if I were to travel someplace where I wouldn't be as welcome because I'm a woman. Like there's, I think, a lot of traveling I would do, and I would spend some of that money to give to some form of scientific research. I would want to help better the world around me, at least in the scientific community, give it to either vaccines or cancer research or something, something significant.
I was going to say, that was going to be my answer too. I would definitely pay off any debts that my family or I have. Rita and I would travel, but then anything left over would be a combination of like investing or putting away for my future family / are there any causes or underfunded programming that could use the support? I didn't realize it just personally on what I grew up on and sort of what I've learned through going through school. One of my favorite things about the area that Rita and I live in is it's a suburb of Columbus that is really good at what they call shared use. Have you heard of that term before?
I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell
essentially,
you what
it's when a community takes things like the high school football field and during the time that the school's not open, unlocks the doors so that people from the community can run on the track or run the stairs of the stadium stairs or whatever. And there's a couple middle schools near us, and there's a high school too that's down the street. And just something as simple as being in an area where they foster something as open-minded and thoughtful towards others who don't have the same facilities as a shared use plan. Like, I would love to be able to go back to where I grew up and like take that like dumpy parking lot and turn it into a place where everybody can exercise, or refurbish it so it's a park or something, because I didn't have that. And you know, I got really good at video games because of it, because I had nowhere else to go safely outside. So I don't always hate it, because there's parts of me that are like, well, I did, you know, I became a video game savant because of it. But in general, like, I do wish that more people had opportunities like that they don't get a chance to have. So I would probably take the money wild and do some stuff like that with it. Great question, though.
Love that.
Great question. All right, KJ, a couple more. If you could shop at any store for free for the rest of your life, we're giving you the black card to any store. What store are you going?
For life,
yeah.
It's definitely going to be some form of clothing or shoe store. I don't shop for myself very often, because if I were, I would spend way too much money. But honestly, it would probably be a Nike shoe store so I could have all the Jordans I ever
I love it. I love that you want Jordan specifically too. You're a homie. I swear. I swear.
Oh, it's great. What about you? Now we gotta know.
You know, it's actually very similar for very similar reasons. I would probably go with like a Dick's Sporting Goods, something like that, where you can get not just like clothing and apparel, but I could also get like, you know, sporting equipment, or, you know, if I needed to hunt and fish for my own food someday, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. You could get a little bit of everything there. Yeah, you can literally get any and everything there. The only thing they don't have is food. So I could probably live off of a Dick's Sporting Goods gift card from like a clothing and everything else perspective. I would need to find a place that's got tech stuff for Twitch and YouTube, and then food. Otherwise, I'm set. So yeah, that would be the move for me. All right, KJ, what is your favorite form of self-care?
Oh, a nice hot shower. It's easy. It's so easy. Like, I mean, I love doing my makeup. I love, you know, messing with my hair. Like going to get my hair cut is wonderful. Getting my nails done when I get those done, which doesn't happen very often, it's nice. But I've always said my biggest thing about living in a first world country is that I can have a hot shower.
Yeah.
And I love taking a hot shower, either every day or every other day. Because it makes me feel in my own way privileged that I can have the ability to pay for that, you know?
Good call.
And that's my self-care is a nice hot shower, relaxing with some nice aromas around me.
Yep. I feel that. That's awesome. I'm laughing because Miss Kimbroplays says hers would be to Target, which is very on brand. She loves her some Target.
Dude, that would be the perfect one, honestly.
She loves some Target. Get a little bit of everything from Target. V King says purple J's as well. All about the purple J's.
Oh yeah, she gave me some purple J's.
Did she?
So
what a legend.
So I've got purple J's, and then my favorite, which are my black and white with a little bit of gold.
Oh man, yes. I definitely. There was a day and time when I was big into shoes, like had to have certain shoes. But I'm not a very good shoe collector, because I'm the kind of person who will buy shoes and then I will literally spend months not wearing them because I don't want to mess them up. So I'm not like, I almost need to get away from my shoe lovingness, because I won't wear them. I need something to be practical on my feet. It can't just be a love for shoes. That's a great one. Nothing like a hot shower. Fantastic form of self-care. I would say Well, that's high up there for me. The only other one I can think of that's a little bit different would be I find myself, when I have any sort of trouble, gravitating towards music. So, you know, whether it's a particular playlist or an album or an artist that I'm in the mood for, I can pretty much recover from just about anything if I'm listening to music. So that's got to be mine.
I also take a nice walk too.
That's a good one.
The shower is more practical, but like on a day where I'm feeling restless or a day where I'm feeling maybe mentally restless, just taking a nice hour-long walk. Yeah,
that'll do it. Lord Gold, we did say Gold. Welcome back. Good to have you. Says I can relate to music. Cora says the same. By the way, welcome in, Cora. Gamer says love a good playlist. Who doesn't? Gotta love some good music. That reminds me, I got a DMCA free playlist that I love. We're not listening to it right now on stream, but I do love it. And I play
it on my stream
about it.
a lot,
I was gonna say a lot of people do, and I'm very grateful that I've been able to just make some little piece that makes people's lives a little bit easier / enriched. So I've definitely had a lot of fun with that. Okay, kind of goofy, hypothetical here. Would you rather be able to talk with animals, understand what they're saying, communicate with them, or speak all of the foreign languages?
As much as I love the idea of being able to speak foreign languages and traveling all over the place, I think the most practical one for me as a pet mom would be able to communicate with my animals. Because I would love my cat to know that he's being a jerk. Like
just tell him off.
I'd love to be able to yell at him and actually understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. Set him straight.
It would be really cool. It'd be more practical to be able to communicate with animals in my life.
Sure.
I think it would be really neat to know all the foreign languages.
Yeah. Practical versus fun. Yeah, I would have to agree with you. We actually don't even have pets, but I also think of this question as like just all animals. I would be like, I would want to be able to talk to, you know, that mountain lion that is like stumbled into our property and get him the hell out of here. Like, yo.
You know what I mean? But you look so yummy. I'm not going anywhere.
Exactly. Just something like that. Or a dog, right? Someone's pet dog who's, you know, going ham, jumping off the chain. To be able to settle that dog down for a hot minute.
Right.
Something like that. That would definitely be fun. That's a fun hypothetical. And I the other problem that I have, the two things that have come up, would it be distracting to be able to hear any and everything that the birds, frogs, crickets, bugs are saying? Because you may not enjoy nature the same way if you could always hear what they're saying. That's what.
Which a lot of it is about getting laid, to be honest. That's what a lot of the voices are either about. Stay off my territory or I'm looking to get laid. Like, that's what majority of the noises
That is true.
Be.
Mrs. Kimbroplays would be down with that one. She's a goofball. She would be all about it. She'd be like, yeah, I'm down. I'm trying to hear what they're saying to each other.
I'd make a gossip column, to be honest with you.
Good call.
My local animals and insects. But I mean, would it be any more noisy than walking into like a convention, you know, where it just kind of starts to drown out anyway?
Sure.
You know?
The only thing that I think would be disappointing is, as you just said, you go for a long walk. You go outside usually for, you know, to escape or to feel better, and then you've dealt with dumb people all day, and now you got to deal with understanding pets from every angle and every sound. So, yeah.
It's true though. It's true.
Okay, this is one of my favorite obnoxious questions on the list, and I don't even know if I have the right answer yet. But KJ, let's say you are a potato.
Okay.
What would be your preferred way to be cooked?
I love a good garlic mashed potato.
Ooh.
Mashed potatoes are probably my favorite thing in the entire world.
Okay.
I love them, but potatoes in general are my favorite side dishes. French fries,
sure.
Twice baked potatoes, mashed potatoes. Do whatever you want to. Hash browns.
I'll take them. I'll take them. Exactly.
But probably just mash me up.
Mash me up. Make it easy.
Mash me up. It's
I
fine.
feel that.
Draw elbows on me. Like
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm down. I am too. A huge potato person. Big time potato fan. I would just have to say I'm down with any of the ways, but I am extra particular about how good the waffle fries are. I'm a big waffle fry fan. So, it's part artsy, it's part user friendly, it's very dippable. There's a lot of different, right? I'm just going to go with a waffle fry. You can waffle fry me.
Oh, I love that. I'm a big, I like the crinkle fries. I like a big crinkle fry person because you can either get them like super crispy, or I like the ones that are like crispy on the outside, but a little wibble wobbly on the inside,
Yeah, no, that's a good call too. Definitely love those. Trigger, welcome in, brother. Good to see you, Trigger. Always good to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Happy Wednesday to you. The gamer, Jen, you go outside to relax, and you just hear birds trying to find a man. Exactly. It's just be nonstop. V King wants to know why you didn't pick potato salad.
I do love potato salad. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Potato salad is one of my favorite things, but I've grown to love mashed potatoes more than potato salad.
There we go.
You can believe it.
There we go. Wendy's baked potato
salad at my high school graduation.
Did you?
It's my favorite.
Because it's the go-to. Yes. I feel that.
Yes.
I feel that. My mom makes a pretty good potato salad that whenever Rita gets a chance to spend time with my mom, she's like, yo, we got to get that potato salad. We got to get that. Lord Gold says curly fries. Ooh, curly fries solid too. Love some curly fries. Yeah, yeah. You really can't go wrong. All of them are fine. On the same, we're gonna stay in the kitchen, KJ.
Okay.
Your favorite meal to cook?
To cook, I really like cooking chili.
Oh, okay.
I nice. Is it 4 to 5 different bean type chili? I also really like cooking a good pork chop mashed potato combo. It's either pork chop, it's like pork chop, mashed potato, asparagus.
There you go.
That's usually if I want to cook a nice meal that's not super difficult, but you can flavor it up how you want to flavor it up. Yeah. That's usually my go-to.
That's the one. That's a good one.
Yep.
That's a really good one. Miss Kimbroplays says she married me for my mom's potato salad. She may have. She very well may have. No, that's a really solid one. I'm trying to think. I'm not really a proficient cook. I would say if anything, I like to bake more than I like to cook. Like we make like a buttercream vanilla frosted like Christmas cookie every year that my mom has it's one of these old Betty Crocker recipe books that she got from like 2 generations of family members ago. And it's good when they don't offer up substitutions from like healthy things. Like it is just straight the OG type of frosted Christmas cookie that you can make, and they are the bomb every freaking year. So that's probably my if I was making something, you could give me all the ingredients, I could only make one thing, I probably would make those cookies. They are so good.
Only when Sona makes these pumpkin bars, and I'm not a big I don't like pumpkin pie too much. Like I'll eat it, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. But she makes these pumpkin bars with a cream cheese frosting that just it's so
Chef's
good.
Kiss.
And yes, all of you guys are just making me feel hungry.
I know. It's true. All right, I think we're done in the kitchen. Unless chat comes up with something, I think we're done with the kitchen. But great answers. I love those. Wild, I'm pretty sure is damn near a professional chef. He says he's gonna teach me after COVID how to cook. I'm good on the grill, and I'm good with breakfast foods. I can make some breakfast foods. Rita's actually really good with breakfast foods as well. But I don't really know how to cook other than that. So I'm gonna need some help. KJ, you're gonna open a business, and I mean brick and mortar. It's not COVID. We're chilling. Brick and mortar storefront business. What are you going to sell and why?
Gosh, the only thing I'm good at selling is my voice talking. Which is why I like being on Twitch. I guess if I really had to boil it down, it would either be some form of music shop or some form of video game shop.
Okay.
Probably a mixture of both, because I would also want to play them. So I probably, an arcade bar.
There you go.
I'd probably do an arcade bar. To be very honest.
Yeah.
I love arcade bars. They're my favorite thing to visit.
Yeah.
Because like the worst arcade bars are still great because you still have alcohol and video games involved, and those are two of my
And we're
favorite
chilling.
things.
Sure.
Yeah,
we have a couple really good ones in Columbus that are really popular. And
I love it.
They're like perfect. They're perfect for a night out. They're perfect for like an outing with your coworkers. They're very versatile. We actually had our engagement party at one of them, which is pretty fun. And in Columbus specifically, there's like this new part of like town that's getting redeveloped, and the people who own the arcade bar bought the space next door, knocked down the wall, connected the two buildings. One half is an arcade bar, and the other half is, have you heard of duck pin bowling? So it's think of a bowling alley that is maybe 25% of the length with miniature pins, and you use a ball that's like maybe the size of, it's like the size of a softball. It's a bowling ball with no holes that's like the size of a softball, and you roll the ball down this tiny little alley that's short and stubby, and the pins are miniature, and you keep score just like regular bowling. So, but yeah, it's called duck pin bowling, and they're connected. So you get your drink at the bar, you bowl, you walk around the corner, now you're playing, Galaga and, whatever arcade game, and then you come back. It's great.
What is your favorite arcade game to play, Kimbro?
Gosh. I'm a big fan of Golden Tee. You seen that one? With that's the one with the ball where you roll it and it's golf. And you're like, you spin the little ball. That one's good.
Like skee ball?
It's not skee ball where you're like rolling it up the holes. Like, it is an arcade box. It's a video game for golf, but the entire swing mechanism is on this like rolling ball that's on the desk.
That's cool.
Yeah, Golden Tee's pretty fun. It's hard. It's hard as hell. But yeah, I would probably walk in and lean towards that one first when I walk in. So, as for me, I love your idea. I would maybe steal it.
Do it.
The only other thing I can think of is I recently learned that YouTube out on the West Coast opened up a store facility where it's essentially an office space that's been converted. There's like a main desk where you can rent out things, and then all of these surrounding offices are content creator studios that you can rent for time. So, and then there's like a couple general spaces as well where there's like, so imagine a kid who wants to become a content creator and starts to have some success, but has terrible internet at home, poor lighting, not a good camera. For however many dollars, you can rent a space for, a 2-hour chunk, plug in essentially, your information into a really nice gaming PC with great lighting and whatever, and you can do your stream in that space. It's so fun. Yeah, it's such a fun, cool idea that when I saw that YouTube was doing that, I was like, I'm not sure where Twitch is, but they're dropping the ball. We need to be doing something like that. And it's like, I've seen a couple places pop up there's a place in Columbus called Game Arena, which is essentially like a store that does LAN parties. They host their own LAN parties. This would be sort of like just a step away from that, where it's specifically for content creators to use the space to record and film and do whatever. So, yeah, that would be my answer.
Shit, have the walls behind green. Like, all you would have to do, and then they would just be in charge of having like green screens for the background. You wouldn't have to decorate it at all. You would just have to have everything else set up. Yeah,
that would be it. And just, let people rent the space. And, it really could be a 24-hour operation. I mean, you don't ever really have to close. You can rent it out for all kinds of different stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of there would be obviously upfront capital, but there would be a lot of potential for it long term, especially as I don't think that the content creation space is going away anytime soon.
Oh, no.
So, Trigger wants to know our favorite fast food.
Ooh, Taco Bell is up there.
TB.
Probably. I'm a big Taco Bell person. Like, if I have nothing else that I want to eat, it's either that. I also really love Popeyes and Wendy's.
Oh.
And it's all for, like, what am I feeling? Do I feel like bad Mexican food? Do I feel like burgers?
Sure.
Or do I feel like chicken?
Sure.
You know?
Yep. I love those. Those are all solid. If you didn't know, Wendy's is, like, started here in Columbus next to us. Like, Dublin, Ohio is like 2 freeway exits away from us, so we're big Wendy's people here. But I Chick-fil-A, even though, and Rita and I talk about this all the time, not exactly the favorite place to support based on who they and how they support, but hopefully they're getting better. But their food is just so good. We love us some Chick-fil-A here. Yeah.
I just enjoyed it, but you know, I was saying the other day to people, I'm like, I don't care if people eat there.
Yeah.
I personally made the decision to
not
go eat
to. Yep. And it's fully understandable for sure. The chicken just calls me sometimes. It just takes me. Brunstad in the building says golden tea is something else at my local bar. Full on tournaments, exactly. Good to see you, by the way. Happy Wednesday, brother. Rita says smoothie shop. I do love me a smoothie shop. I've always wanted to open a smoothie store. There's one in particular that was on campus when I was there at Ohio State that I was addicted to, and I went all the time, and I would love to open up one of the branches of that store. I would.
Oh
I would.
my God, I'd visit. I love smoothies
So good.
so much.
Wild says he would open up a barbecue pit restaurant crossed with a hibachi. Ooh, interesting. Would it be food safe? Are those two things like food safe with each other? I guess maybe. What is there's a place here that kind of does something like that. It's not hibachi, but they use like a huge grill, and it's Asian food. I'm trying to think of what that is, but I'll think about it. I'll come back to it. KJ, what is your all-time favorite board game?
That's a tough one because, you know, when I grew up, like we play a lot of board games now, more so than what we do when we grew up. But like we grew up playing like the basics like Clue. We played Life. But I think I really like to play a fun card game like Exploding Kittens is a fun one.
Oh, fun, yeah.
I just got a new one from my family, and it's got something to do with unicorns because you know how much I hate unicorns.
Yes.
But like I like a fun card game like that. But if I had to go with a board game, no, I just don't play that many.
No.
But I really enjoyed. I play a lot, but I don't play much recently.
Yeah.
There was this game. It's kind of like, have you ever heard of? It's like something Hitler. It's like Secret Hitler. Where it's you basically have to figure out who Hitler is before you are killed. Essentially, is what it comes down to. So you lose more friends playing it than Monopoly. But
so
there's similar games to that. I enjoy a good strategy based game.
I was gonna say Wild says Risk. Isn't that very strategy based?
It is, but it's so long.
Yeah.
Like my attention span is
like a whole day.
Yeah,
that one would be tough. Those are good ones. I agree. I'm also a card based game, like apples to apples. You know.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Cards Against. Those are really really good. I guess board game is kind of unfair because those aren't board games. Rita and I recently played Life against each other, and that was actually really fun. I don't think either of us had ever really played Life before, and it was really good. So maybe it'd be that.
I just like playing games. I have a tile-based game called Suro back here. I just like board game nights.
Yeah.
Like I just like sitting down, playing card games, playing board games with people, just hanging out. I like, even if it turns into like, we're gonna now play Mario Kart with each other or something like that. Game nights with my friends are some of my most favorite nights ever, and I really miss that right now, I think, for sure.
Definitely. I feel that. Yeah, Gamer says Cards Against is the funniest thing ever. Love Cards Against. So fun. Especially if you've got a good group that's not afraid. You know what I mean? You get a group that's like down to be a little obtuse and a little non-PG. You guys can have some real fun. I don't know what Super Fight is, and I don't know what Suro is.
Suro,
that was the game you were just saying, right? I don't know that one.
I'll just take off the game here. It's really pretty.
Oh wow. Look at that.
It's a based game, and it's got Japanese art style on it, and you have dragons that you have to avoid.
Oh wow.
But you're just placing tiles and looking to be the last one to survive.
Very cool. Miss Kimbroplays says categories. Solid.
Categories is a solid one.
Solid. KJ, all right, last couple. What is your favorite thing about yourself? Whether it's personality, physical, what exactly is your favorite thing about you?
My favorite thing about myself would probably be how easily I am able to walk into a room and make a friend. Like, whether that is something that I necessarily want sometimes you just kind of want to blend in, but I do like being able to just walk up to a person that I don't know very well and carry a conversation with them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, that's a great one. I actually think that's mine as well. I just have always had that, whether it was fostered at a young age or something I developed, I'm not really sure, but there's not very many rooms that I walk into and can't operate, befriend, assimilate, whatever the word is. I tend to be okay in those settings. And I know that not everyone is, so it's definitely a trait that I cherish.
No, I like that. I also, it's weird because I feel really comfortable walking into like a party, but I don't feel comfortable if the party is about me, like a birthday or something like that.
Interesting.
That gets me a little like nervous. But if it comes to just a regular party or like TwitchCon eventually, when that can happen and I can go and meet a whole bunch of people, I'm very excited about something like that. Even if I'm a little nervous, I would know that would disappear immediately as soon as I saw some of my friends or even met somebody new. I love being able to do that. I was in a sorority for many years, so that definitely helps.
Yeah, no, that does. That's true. That's a really good one too. Yeah, I can tell that you certainly are the type of person who, you know, can just sort of make friends with anybody. I mean, I don't think it's a trait that you necessarily need to have on Twitch, but you can definitely figure it out when you see someone who has it. I certainly admire that for sure. Yeah, and
it's definitely something that you have as well.
I was gonna say it's probably mine too. It's. I have a question in here that's what's the one trait that gets you into the most trouble? It's also that trait.
It's also the same trait.
It's also that one. But yeah, no, that'd probably be my answer too, for fear of sounding boring and not having a different one than you. But that really is probably mine as well. Okay, last two questions that I have, and then we can take some from chat or whatever. What are your hobbies, and how exactly did you get into them?
So video games, one for sure. I mean, that's an obvious one, but it's true. I mean, there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. Video games, I got into playing them when Sunday night football games, well, just kind of in general, my mom got me and my sister a PlayStation 1 and said, here you go, you're sharing this. And I started by playing Spyro and puzzle games and that kind of stuff. Loved playing those, but you know, a lot of the times would be football and people would be upstairs watching football games while me and my cousin were downstairs playing
some
time
video game.
Splitters on too. You know, like we were playing some form of game at all times. Yeah. And then when Halo came out, that's what we were playing, and like all of that. But Watching TV shows and movies is a really, really big one, and that comes from my mom. My mom is a big movie buff. Like, she, you tell her a name, and if she loves that movie, she can name the entire cast and what year it came out. Like, she's a big trivia buff when it comes to that.
That's cool.
And then music. Music would be another hobby for sure.
Yeah.
And that has just kind of come from, I think, my mom and stepmom's love of different music tastes. My mom was very pop oriented. My stepmom was more of the AC/DC rock kind of orientations. There was a lot of Pat Benatar, Heart. Yeah. And then my mom was the more Barbra Streisand, Bette Midler, pop side of life.
Cool.
We always had a big thing of CDs that I could go through at any point as long as I put it back where it belonged.
Yeah, and be able to enjoy it. That's awesome. That one is very similar to me. My parents were a huge influence as well. My dad's black, my mom's white, and the two of them together exposed me to a ton of different types of music. And, I give them both credit because they were also able to cross over into genres that you wouldn't necessarily expect them to like as well. So we had all kinds of crazy sounds going on in the house. And then the only other extra sprinkle is that my grandfather on my mom's side was a drummer growing up forever. And he actually had a really cool drumming gig when he was in his early 30s. He was the house drummer for a pretty prominent band in Detroit, up in Michigan. And they don't do this anymore, but as certain artists would travel, they would travel and maybe have a piece or two, but in general, they would use like the house band at the venue to play some of their shows occasionally. And so my grandfather got to play with Louis Armstrong, Johnny Cash, some really amazing artists as they were sort of either coming up or at the peak of their powers. And so, at a very young age, I was looking at a, gorgeous 3-piece pearl drum set that had been, just added onto and really, really special. And I got to play with it, and sort of between the stuff I'd hear at home and the stuff I was exposed to, it just bit me. The music bug bit me and still bites me today. And Rita and I, our first interaction together was like at a bar. We met through my best man at our wedding. He worked with Rita, and we were all out. I was out with him. He met up with some coworkers, and Rita was in that group, and that's how we met the first time. And we spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours at the bar talking about music, because she plays guitar and sings, as you know, and
she's so good at it.
She's incredibly good at it, and so it's a, I don't even know if hobby even describes it correctly. It's what's more than a hobby. I mean, it is a passion for sure. And that's
a lifestyle.
That's how I got into it. It really is a lifestyle. That's for sure. That's a big one for me. V-King says, Halo on Legendary campaign. Great times.
That was me and her. We were, she was the player 2 to my player 2.
Yeah.
We would, especially if we were home from school, like that's what the two of us would be doing. Original Halo on Legendary campaign together.
Jeez. So cool. Mm-hmm. So cool. I was always a PlayStation guy. I actually never got into Halo on Xbox because I never had the console. But I do have vivid memories of coming home to certain friends' houses after school who did, playing Halo with them and being like, this game's kind of fun. This is some crazy shit. We're bouncing around and jumping and shooting these little creatures and all kinds of shit. Yeah. It was wild. I enjoyed some Halo. I was going to say, Wild said, Kimbro, did you ask her the paperclip question? I did not, but I will throw in an extra bonus question for you, KJ.
Oh, okay.
This is courtesy of Wild, but this is one I usually ask folks, but I had so many to go through and so many good ones for you. There is a police detective that is coming to your house. You've got 5 minutes to hide a paperclip in your home somewhere. You can hide it anywhere. If they find the paperclip, you're going to jail. If they can't find the paperclip, you get $50,000. Where are you going to hide the paperclip?
Mm-hmm. This is a really old house, so actually there's a lot of different spots I could hide it in. honestly, if I threw it down one of the vents, you would never ever see it again. You would never ever see it again, because there's even like a big old vent on the floor, to be honest with you. But it would probably be a mixture of, we have a little attic that like animals and stuff like to get to, so I'd probably throw it up, hope that an animal grabbed it.
Yep.
Or I would throw it, there's like there's a little hole space down beneath our sink in the back where a rat actually came out of and died one time. And so we didn't even know we had that was this big. We didn't even know we had a rat in our house. Like, that's how well it was traveling through our place.
Gosh.
And so I'd probably hide it in one of the little holes or vents that anywhere, like, I mean, you would literally have to tear this house apart in order to find, because it would just disappear.
That's a good one. Yeah. I mean, I feel like your guys' home has enough character and uniqueness to it that you have clever little spots like that. We live in an apartment that was built 4 years ago, so we're the first tenants even here. So we don't have anywhere cool like that we can hide. I will say Tan Bland, who I had on as a guest, someone in his community suggested under the lip of your washer and dryer. So, like, you know how, like, the bottom of the washer and dryer usually just kind of curves at the bottoms? The shit that, like, slices your hand open when you go to move your washer and dryer between places? Just sneak it right on that little ledge on the inside underneath. So that's a really good one. And then Wild says, I know I say this all the time, but Kimbro would put it in the hole in his living room wall, which is an inside joke that he and I have. This structure hanging on my wall behind me. It's a long story. It was a son of a bitch to hang up. I'm not very crafty. I'm not Bob the Builder. And I was trying to find studs in the wall to hang this thing, and I couldn't find like both studs. So I was like, okay, this is just drywall. We're good. I start to drill a hole under the wall with a pilot, and eventually, like, I couldn't get through, and ultimately, like, the drill starts spinning, and I gouge a huge, like, hole in the wall. And so Rita has like a really nice ornate candle that's on the shelf blocking the hole, because I took a chunk of drywall out that we have to deal with when we move. So it would be a perfect spot, because you never know. Nobody's ever noticed. The only reason people know is because I bring it up. So
Good job, Rita.
that would be the spot. Sneerius in the building says, you're a stud though. I love you, dude. Good to see you, man. Thank you for popping in. Happy Wednesday. I have one final question for KJ on my list, but if you guys in the chat have anything, feel free. But KJ, this is my favorite question. It's always my final question. Which of your friends or family are you the most proud of, and why?
I'm proud of all of my friends and family, but I think I gotta go with my sister here, V King, and not because she's in the chat, but because genuinely, I truly believe this answer. She and I have grown up dealing with things that aren't, I mean, not as bad as other people have had, not as good as other people have had. And she's grown a lot, not only through growing up through high school, but leaving high school and going to college. And now she's been living in multiple different countries. I am very proud of the young woman that she is right now. And she is even growing to this day. If she and I fight, it doesn't last very long normally, because one of us is usually able to come together and be like, listen, I want to talk this out. Yeah. And I'm very proud of the person that she knows she is as well, and continues to grow from. And I've learned a lot from her. She's learned a lot from me. And it would be a very sad day if I'd never be able to talk to my sister again. Yeah. So I am very proud of the woman that she is becoming and has become.
I love that. Such a great answer. I can tell, we can tell by the tone of your voice and how moving it is for you that she is something really, really special to you. And V King, I know I've only just met you, but it sounds like you're off to a great start in your life, and that you guys have each other's backs like no other. So what a wonderful answer, KJ. What a great way to wrap up our fun discussion. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time.
Good.
This was a really fun time to get to know you as well.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I definitely appreciate you and appreciate you giving up much of your evening and spending time hanging out here, being so honest and thoughtful in your responses and transparent. Everything I could ever want from a guest on this show with me. So thank you so much. All right. Before we leave, is that your mom too? Shout out Mama Bear. Yo, appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out. It sounds like you have a lot to be proud of with both of your girls, and that is pretty special stuff. Is there anything we should know about your stream? What's going on? Where can we find you? Tell us about what you got going on.
So the schedule might be changing here soon, just depending on a few different factors in my life. But for now, the schedule is set to Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, 2 p.m. to 12 a.m. Central Time. So an hour for Eastern, minus a couple for Western Time. Yep. I've been playing a lot of Apex, I usually play a lot of Overwatch. I'm taking a small break from that game right now. But I've also been playing a lot of Rogue Company, of course. I'm actually going to be in a tournament again for the 4th tournament I'll have been in for Rogue Company. Coming up in first Saturday of March. It'll be an all-women's tournament. So I'm very excited to be a part of that.
I love that.
So a Breezy Girl was in here earlier. She and I are getting that team together.
Very cool.
But yeah, a lot of Apex, a lot of basically shooters, competitive games, some League of Legends, some Dead by Daylight every once in a while. And then when I'm feeling a little crazy, I play Phasmophobia because I love that game.
Nice. I love it. That's perfect.
Yes. So come join us to see someone who is a noob play at these games and do her very best.
I've watched you, and you are not a noob. You pick up stuff so fast, and you have just a ton of natural ability. Clearly, we learned you've been a gamer for a long time, so I refuse to let you wear that hat. You are definitely talented. And I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate getting to know you. This has definitely been a heck of a time on Twitch, meeting you, interacting with your community, and becoming friends. It's been really, really fun. So thank you for everything. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe. Shout out to your boyfriend. Hopefully he feels better and heals up and is back to normal very, very soon.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
With him again.
I love it. KJ, I appreciate you. We will holler at you very soon. Thank you for being on with us. Be safe.
Thank you guys. Thank you. You guys be safe too. I appreciate you.
Love you, KJ. Thank you.
Love you too. Bye.
What a legend. Yo, KJ's so awesome. I remember the first time I met her, and the first time I saw her stream, and the first time she was in my stream, and just instantly very, very cool, instantly very, very thoughtful and down to earth. And it's just been so fun getting to know her, and I can't wait to watch her continue to grow her content and her community and support her along the way. So thank you guys so much for the love today.